Hello, my name is Beth and I am a systems engineer. I work at a consultancy called Atkins and I predominantly work in the industries of defence, aerospace, technology and security as well. So what is a systems engineer? Very, very good question. I did not know what a systems engineer was before I started to be one. Systems engineer engineers complex systems. So instead of engineering particular parts of mechanics or electronics, it looks at the system as a whole, and you can dig into some low-level detail, but also you can abstract back and look at the high-level view of what's going on in the system. And that system can be anything. It can be as big as big infrastructure projects, it can be a motorway, it can be a system that's as big as any project you'd ever think of, but it also can be a very small system as well. It can just be a really bounded small system that you're looking at the engineering of what's going on, what's coming in, what's going out, and how can we do things in the most effective way. So currently I'm working in a role in defensive cyber, so I get to work with the data science and machine learning team to create some really funky innovative solutions to help protect our cyber network. What does that mean? So it's about using some really cool maths and really cool data science, so that's manipulating data to come up with new ways of protecting our cyber network. So as things progress and technology progresses, we're not so worried about physical attacks in the physical world of people coming at us, with guns or whatever. That war in reality, in the real world, there's lots of threats online in the cyber world, and that can be from individual computers like yourselves, the websites you use, and your phones and your computers, as well as we go forward, things like your cars that are connected to the internet and do lots of really connected things, using really new innovative techniques to tackle the crime and cyber risks that are out there that are trying to do bad things in that cyberspace. So this is my home office here. As you can see, there's a bit of a drum kit there. It doubles up as a living space as well, as we are all home based. So all the team I work with, we all work from home at the moment. There's a couple of things I have to go into the office for, but predominantly we're all home based, which comes with its positives and its negatives. So we can do most things we can do virtually, but we can just use video calls and voice calls and instant messages, but we do miss out on that the more casual conversations that you have with people between meetings, and it can be a lot more stressful when you're stuck to a computer all the time. But yeah, this is my current office. My main office normally is based in Aldershot, but again, in this world that we live in, and even before virtually, I haven't always been based out of the Aldershot office. So there is that flexibility, especially working for a consultancy. I've worked in different projects in all different locations, so that's included. I did 6 months in Germany on international secondment. That was really, really fun. So I got to do a commuting assignment. So I came home every other weekend, and every other weekend I spent in Germany. I was based in Hamburg, which was a really fun opportunity to do. And I'd recommend really getting and experiencing different cultures. I was working with the Germans, but also some Australians as well, across different entities across Germany, and I really, really enjoyed that. And that's one of the good opportunities you can do when you work for a company that has those different entities and can work across different parts of the world. How did I get to being a systems engineer? Really very good question. So when I was at school, when I studied at school, I was quite a good student. I kind of enjoyed most things, but up until throughout secondary school, I didn't really enjoy maths at all. I found it quite difficult, and I just wasn't that fussed by it. And it was only when I really started paying attention to it and got my head down and focused on it did I start to enjoy it, and then I found it okay. I found it a bit easier. I think with maths, the more effort you put in, the easier you find it. It's one of those things that's quite logical, and if you put your time into learning those strategies to get to the solutions, that will really help. But I didn't love it. I didn't love maths. So I went to college and I studied all the sciences, so biology, chemistry, physics, and I also did history, and I also did Spanish, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Obviously it was quite a lot as well to do those 5 subjects, but I got through that first year. I really felt that I had the most fun when I was doing the physics. There was a bit more problem solving, it was more practical, and I enjoyed the challenge of it. It was a bit more difficult, and I also still on that practical edge of problem solving. But I realised that I couldn't do any further learning at university without having maths as well as an A-level. So after my first year, I dropped chemistry. No, I didn't drop chemistry. I dropped biology, and I dropped history, and I dropped Spanish. So I ended my college with whole A-levels in maths, physics and chemistry. So I had to do my maths 1 in a year, which was a bit of a struggle. It was tough, but those are the A-levels that I had, which I then used to get into university, and I did a Master of Physics degree at Loughborough University. So that's a 4-year integrated masters, which I really enjoyed. I really loved university. I loved the community. I loved the people. It was really fun to be away from home and experiencing a new town and all of the fun that comes with the university, with the societies, with the sports teams, and all the fun that we get up to as well. Obviously there are other options. You don't have to do a degree, and especially now there are some brilliant opportunities with apprenticeships, and that's definitely something that I think I could have definitely considered more. Back then there wasn't so many options, and I think now looking at it on paper that's a really brilliant opportunity. So there are other routes, and then when I finished university I was looking at all different types of jobs to do with my degree, and I wanted to do something a bit more practical. So I'd done an internship during summer at a water treatment firm, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. I knew I didn't want to do that type of engineering, found it a little bit boring. So I decided to join a consultancy, and the idea of systems engineering appealed to me because it was that problem solving in nature, thinking about the big problems as well as the technical detail, and solving problems on that bigger scale. So that's why I joined Atkins, which is a consultancy to do systems engineering, in particular in the area of aerospace, defence, security and technology. So both in engineering as well as in defence, where I've been working a lot over the last couple of years, it is a very male-dominated environment. It's predominantly the older male who, from a very white background, and that's the nature of both the engineering and the defence industries. I think there's definitely different pressure when you are not that kind of group, and in particular they come from that expectation sometimes that you'll do the admin, that you'll be good at writing minutes, that maybe not necessarily get a cup of tea. I haven't been stereotyped to that degree, and I've never put myself forward as the tea and coffee maker of the group, but I think those sort of stereotypes do exist, and it's a balance between being early in your career and being useful and being proactive and doing the jobs that need to be done, between that and devaluing yourself to just being that admin side of things because you're a woman. So it's definitely been difficult to sometimes balance that right, and I think you have to have that confidence in yourself and in your own abilities to really put yourself in those positions that you can grow, and I think the right people being around you is really important in that. So it's about your team, setting the right goals, having the right ambitions for what are you doing in that role. Of course, when you first join a team, you're still getting under your feet and learning, but actually what are you going to do in that role, how are you going to grow, and in particular being really ambitious with what you're achieving, and making sure that you're pushing for those development opportunities, and you're doing that, and you're growing, rather than just potentially sitting in a role and being stuck and doing the administration. And your team is really important with that, and I've been really lucky that I've had some brilliant mentors. I've had brilliant people who've seen my talent and really helped me grow and push me to do and grow those skills that are inside of you. And if you don't feel that your team is supporting you in that way, then that's something that you should definitely be raising, and you want to make sure that the people around you have got that ambition for you as well, and making sure you stand up for yourself, that you deserve that push, that ambition of where you're going, even in that role. You doesn't necessarily have to be for your whole career, but having a good idea of what you're getting out of the work you're doing, and the sort of skills that you're looking to grow in, and making sure that you get the opportunities to do that, and really grow through the work that you do. So the thing I enjoy most about my role at the moment, I really am lucky. I get to work with a team of brilliant individuals, and we get to solve problems. There's nothing more than I love is having a really big problem to solve that's got all these different parts to it, and working through all the technical detail, all the stakeholder detail, all of the different depths of problems that need to be solved, and getting all the way through to the other end, and being able to provide that solution that works for the client or for the team. And I'm really lucky that I'm working with brilliant data scientists and data architects to achieve really substantial end goals for the client, which is really brilliant fun. That's something I enjoy, and I like to have big problems that need to be solved, but also small enough that you can see the progress as you're moving along, those real steps to getting there. And that is across brilliant people with brilliant team environments. It's not always going to be easy, and it's not going to be necessarily a quick road, but it's knowing where you're going and making those steps to solve that problem. And that's why I enjoy being a systems engineer. That's why I enjoy working on complex problems where things aren't always straightforward. You always have to dig a little bit deeper and understand a little bit more the depths and the detail, and understanding that tiny detail in the bigger picture of the problem, that strategic element as well as that low-level technical detail. That's what I love. I love being in the middle of those two extremes and reconciling them and understanding both ends of the spectrum to produce a solution that is suitable and useful and works for absolutely everyone. So that's why I enjoy doing what I do. How did I get to being a systems engineer? Well, when I was at school, I was quite a good student. I kind of enjoyed most subjects. I didn't really particularly enjoy maths, especially when I was at secondary school. I just didn't really enjoy the subjects. I had it a little bit difficult, but then about year 9, year 10, I realised I should probably try a little bit harder, so I got my head down, and I found it much easier when I applied myself to it and put in that effort, which I hadn't really put in before, but I didn't really love it. So at college I chose A-levels in biology, chemistry, physics, history and Spanish, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But it turned out that I really enjoyed the physics. I just found the problem solving fun. I thought there were practical examples, and I enjoyed that it was challenging. It was difficult, but also quite applicable to the real world. But in order to do further study in that area, I realised that I couldn't do anything with physics unless I had maths. So I dropped biology, history and Spanish, and I took up maths, and I did that one in a year. So I ended up with A-levels in physics, chemistry and maths. And then from then on, I went on to do a 4-year degree at Loughborough University in physics. So I did an undergraduate master's and MPhys in physics, which took 4 years, and I absolutely loved it. Really enjoyed studying. I enjoyed the subject. I preferred the theoretical side of things. I wasn't brilliant at the laboratory practical exercises. Never really managed to make it work accurately, but I really enjoyed studying at university. And then with my degree, I was looking at what sort of job would I like to do, and I looked across all the different types of further study. Do I go into what industry? And the thing with physics is there's lots of options, and I wanted that variety still. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so that's why I chose to do a consultancy where there's lots of different options, lots of different clients, and especially in the industries that I chose, there's a really broad spectrum of things that I could get involved in my future career.